Hello YouTubers, Manny here from Manny's How To Workshop, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be replacing my water heater. The last one that I had was over 12 years old, and it finally let go on me, meaning that right behind that cover there, I noticed some black water coming out. This is the new one, but on the old one, like I said, the black water was coming out of there, and in the anode has never been replaced. So my old water heater was installed in 2010 when I was in Kuwait for a year by my uncle and cousin, and every water heater comes with an anode, and in this new one it's hidden right underneath this plug. Pull that plug out, it's like a 3/4 inch socket or wrench that you need, more likely deep socket, to get down there and back off the plug, and then the anode comes right out. Actually, I think the anode is attached to that plug. So anyway, and the manufacturer recommends that you replace the anode every 2 to 4 years to prolong the life of the outside tank. And then on this one, the new one, at 6 months I need to drain it down there just to get some of the sediment off and just check everything. And they also recommend checking the anode at that 6 months time just to see how it's doing. And for my old water heater, I actually had bought 2 anodes, and I was about to change it, and then I noticed a leak, and I said nah. So after 12 years, that's a pretty good long time for a water heater to last, considering that the new one only came with 6-year warranty. Alright, so like I said, I'm in the process of installing my new water heater. I already took the old one out, gave it to my local scrap guy. So on top of the water heater, you're going to have the connection. Now, some connections are hard plumbed like this one, like mine is, and some use flexible steel braided lines, and others use that flexible copper. And then, so whichever way you do it, just make sure you read the owner's manual. It'll tell you exactly what you need to do. So on mine, I had to modify this piece here, this one, and this other one here that goes right there. So the good thing is that you want to do it this way. If not a union coupler, then make sure you use these compressed fittings, and so that, see how this pipe is not soldered or anything right here? It just slides right in here, and this nut has a collar inside. You see that little washer right there? That compresses. When you tighten this down, it compresses around the pipe, and then get your seal that way. So, but I made sure that this pipe right here is nice and clean and smooth, because when you tighten that down, you need to tighten it down so you get no leaks. They recommend a union joint, but since I already had this, I figured, what the hell. Also, I replaced my old cold water supply shutoff. This used to be the regular butterfly. Matter of fact, here it is right here, like this one. But when I shut this off to start disconnecting everything, it started leaking right from the stem. And yeah, you can buy the kits to replace the seals, but I like having ball valves where it counts. Meaning, if something happened to this tank, excuse me, and I needed to come here and shut the water off real quick, it's just too easy. I'm not going to open it right now because the water's on, but in this position here, horizontal or left to right, is off and facing in line with the pipe that's on. Okay, and this is my hot. That's what's going to leave the tank and go out. And another thing is that it's nice when they color code them. Like this one's blue and that one's red. The handle is red, that one's blue. All right, and those are my taps. They go right to my utility sink right there. Along with this installation, I'm going to go ahead and also install this right here. This is a hot water recirculating pump from Watts. Got it off Amazon for like 110 bucks. A $10 coupon, saved a little bit of money. And what this is going to do for me is that at every faucet, I'm going to have instant hot water. So there's no running the water for, a minute or two to get a chance for this to send water all the way to like my furthest bathroom, which I'm going to take you over there in a second. You're going to waste water. So basically that's going to help you save water, and it's going to have it so that you have hot water instantly at every faucet. that you have in the house. All right. So like I said, off camera, I went ahead and modified these two connectors right here, the connections, these pipes. All right. So like I said, this one's going to go right here, and this pump, okay, is going to go right here on the output of the hot water heater side. Okay. So I just have to, and connect that up. On the bottom, it's a flexible nut. Okay. Inside is a rubber gasket that compresses around here. All right. Also, speaking of here, you need to go ahead and put some sealant there, either thread tape, Teflon tape, or pipe dope, like this one. Okay, it's called Pro Dope, and put it on these threads. Just gives you an added sealing abilities. Okay, so I already had him put this one on right here. I put the sealant on there and threaded on there because I needed to make sure that straight on that pipe is going to line up with connecting. The ones coming out of the wall is actually off a little bit. It's not exactly straight. So when I bring it over, see how it just moves? So I'm going to bring it over and line it up because the water here is exactly where I need it. All right, and then this one here, I'll have to thread this onto this top part right here because this pump goes in only one direction, can only be mounted vertically. All right, you can see the little arrow that shows the water flow, meaning leaving the tank and out. You can't put it horizontal. So, and then, like I said, I got to thread this part here on here, like that, with the sealant. And with this one, it doesn't matter because the pump can face in any direction. But once I get this nice and tight, then it'll be easy because this here is adjustable. In other words, once that's in there, I can turn the pump, I can turn it this way, I can turn it that way to make sure that it lines up with here so I can get it good. All right. Also, this is what comes with the pump. This is what makes it so that you always have hot water everywhere in the house, at every faucet. This little valve system right here, okay? And it comes with these two little lines. So let's go over there into my furthest bathroom and let me show you what I'm talking about, okay? Okay, so I'm at the furthest bathroom in the house, away from the water heater, and this is the gas bath. So basically that valve right there, okay, what it does is got diaphragms in there and pressure sensors, so that the pump also comes with a timer. So I can set the timer when I want the pump to work, meaning the most times of the day where I'm going to wash dishes, take a shower, wash clothes or whatnot. And my time is usually between 4 p.m. and the midnight. So that's what I'm going to set it for. And so what it does is that pump from way over there will be able to circulate the cold water. It will force the cold water back to the water heater to get heated and come back over here. So in here is what senses all that. All right. So basically, like I said, this little valve system comes with the two hoses, steel braided hoses, one for the hot, one for the cold, and then these two other adapters here that you connect to it, and then your supply or going to the faucet, these lines connect, there. So basically what I did was I came and I put a brace underneath there because there was no back panel to this vanity. So I put a brace on the wall, which I'm going to go ahead and mount this. As you can see, I already pre-drilled my holes right there for it. And I'm going to mount that with 2 screws and then make the connection so that this will be ready to go. And this is pretty simple here to connect. Like I said, you just take the small hoses, connect it to the supply coming in, and then you take the ones going to the sink and connect that over here. Because if you look right here, it says hot in right there, and then here is hot out. So the theory of operation is, like I said, that it will sense, okay, when the hot water is here. So if it's not hot enough, the pump will force the water, okay, to go back. So in other words, the hot water is here, so it's going to pump it out the hot water, and it'll send it back this way, okay, right here, follow back to the cold, and it'll push it through to to the tank until it senses hot water here. So once it does that, then it will stop. Okay, this little inside is like I said, check valves, and it will shut off to keep the hot water there. So it'll do that based on that between that 4 and midnight cycle. All right, so let me go ahead and connect this and show you everything connected up. All right, so I went ahead and connected everything. Excuse me. As you can see, that's how it's mounted onto the board. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the valves. And of course, on the hot side, I don't have any water there yet. So that's not going to let me know if it's leaking or not. But I'll come back later after I fill up the hot water heater and check for pressure. Now, this is a little trick for you. Whenever you open these valves, especially this kind, and it goes all the way to the left, always come back a little bit. So that never gets stuck in that position. Because I find that over time, if you put it all the way there and it gets stuck there, when you go try to go, close it, you either break it or it starts leaking. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the cold side and check for leaks, where, like right there in these connections. Oh, I left the top open. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that. That one's off. Okay, so I'll go ahead and open it. You can hear the water running. And exactly what I was saying was happening. See, right here from the stem of the valve is dripping. So I might have to freaking change this valve to a quarter turn valve also. And the good thing is that this is a compressed one. Yeah, because when I was trying to open it, it was very stiff. All right. So for right now, where's my cup? I'm going to go ahead and put the cup there to catch the drips. But see, and like I said, I hate these things. They suck. So I'm not going to go get another, a quarter turn valve and replace it here. This is ridiculous. So I'm going to go ahead and shut it off. In the off position, it probably won't leak as much. But with these, I don't think there's a repair kit to replace those. But anyway, let's go to the water heater and continue over there. All right, so I went ahead and connected the piping. Water still off. Also, I forgot to mention in the beginning. Yeah, if you're going to attempt to change out your water heater, make sure you shut off the breaker panel. And for me, my power cable, ever since the other one I had, I put this timer on it, and this is like the original one that I installed to go ahead and save energy, so that my water heater would only come on between 4 and midnight, and it was always plenty. I never ran out of hot water. Only if I had 4 or 5 people in the house, but other than that, everything worked great. So anyway, like I said, I put this plug on mine right here on the cable, so that comes in here, and then on the side, as you can see, there's another plug there that I made a pigtail. Okay, as you can see right here, and this is the 220 plug, because you see that little horizontal tab right here. That's how you know it's 220 only. Okay, so if you try to plug this into the 120 outlet, it'll never happen. You can line it up, but this one right here will not go in, and that's safety reasons. That's why they did it that way. So this can only be used for this. So I'm going to connect these little pigtail to here, and then all you got to do is plug this in to the side. So if you ever need to change the water heater out, it's easy. It's like unplug. Everything is unplugged between the electrical and the plumbing. Alright. Also, you need to fill up the water heater first before you turn on the power, because you don't want to burn out the heater elements. And also, to point something else out, the pump, you need a place to plug the pump in also, which for me is easy because it's right there. Is my power strip, and I plug it in, and here's the little clock that you set the time of day, and then it's got 3 settings, which the far left one is on, and then timer function, and then off. And right now it's in the on position, so I'll go ahead and use a little tiny screwdriver to go ahead and put it in the off position, because I got to give the water heater a chance to heat up first to temperature. And right here behind this panel, which I'll show you guys, is how you set the temperature. Alright, so let me go ahead and hook up the electrical, get it roughed in, and then I'll show you guys the next step. Alright, so one thing I forgot to mention was that I had to build up my base from the water heater. That 1/2-inch plywood piece there, that was the original on the old one. Even though this one and the old one was the exact same height, I added another 3/4 inch on the bottom. I got 3 pieces of wood going across, one there, one in the middle, and one in the back, to give it more height so that these pipes could actually be more leveled. Because before, this was going down and it was putting pressure back there on the joints. Same thing with this one. And so when I put a level on here, and it was like, I was about, I think, 1/2 inch, no, 3/4 inch off. So from the bottom of the level to the top of the pipe, in other words, right here was like 3/4 inches below grade, or below the plumb level. All right, so anyway, so there's the connections right here. So to keep it same, black with black, and then my red is my white, but white is actually power because it's 220. 220 has 2 legs. All right, so, and then is my ground. There's a little ground connection right here, and that's the ground screw. And then I like to always put like a little connector on the end of it. So this is grounded to the tank, and it's grounded through the cable, through there, and back to the panel. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and close that up, and then go on for the next step. Alright, now I'm going to show you where you can adjust the thermostat. Alright, so right here, this is the top panel. And as you can see, right there, that's the way they came from the factory. It was already set. And then you can see where there's a 125. Way up there is the 90 to my far right. And then over there is 150 is like max. But they say 125 or 120 is max because of scalding. So I leave it right there at factory, which is about 115, 120. And that's perfect for me. I don't need to any higher than that. I don't take hot showers anyway, so it's only, for my washing clothes and, washing dishes. But anyways, all you need is a flat tip screwdriver on that little screw right there, and you can turn that little dial to your desired setting. Just a side note, believe it or not, I had a friend up north that had hers set to like 140. I was like, holy crap. I went to visit her one time, took a shower, damn near burnt myself. And I said, what is going on here? Anyway, so the next step is to put that cover back and then go ahead and start filling it up. And I went ahead and opened the closest faucet, which is this one right here, the utility sink, the hot side. Open that valve. I'm going to open this one too, right here. So when it fills up, it's going to come, the water's going to come all the way up, come out here, and all that air in the line is going to escape through there. And since this one doesn't have, this faucet doesn't have an aerator, any debris that's in there in the tank will get washed out and come out of there. And that's what they say, if you have an aerator, go ahead and remove it. So I'm all set there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and at the same time come back and check for leaks. So I went ahead and opened up the cold water supply. You can hear the water running, and then you can actually hear all the air coming out of the faucet. So basically it says right there to go ahead and let it fill up until this run, they want you to run it for like 3 minutes. So I guess to clear out any debris or whatnot, because it's gonna go the water's going to go up this way, but it's going to have nowhere to go because all the sinks are closed, and it's going to come right, come out of here. So it's been running full stream now for about a little over 2 minutes. So I got to keep it going for another 45 seconds, and I'm going to shut off right there, and then go ahead and turn the power on to get the water to heat. I also went ahead and turned this to the off position right there. This cover just pops off, and there's a little knob right there, not knob, little tab. I put it in the off position. So I'm going to wait for this to heat up completely, and at the, I think it's 4,500 watts, it's probably going to take about 45 minutes to an hour for that to heat up. So I'll have to do an update on the pump actually working like it's supposed to. Alright guys, so I turned off the water. Now the system has full pressure. I'm going to check for leaks at all connections that I worked on. Alright, so first one is right here in this valve that I installed. This was a sweat joint because this valve was a sweat valve. And so far, dry there, dry here. This is a compressed fitting. I can see better from this side. Alright, compressed fitting. No wetness there. If anywhere, that would probably be the first place it would leak because it's compressed. It's not, what do you call it? It's not soldered joint. So, it'll be prone to leak there first. Same thing over here. This is compressed, so I expect this to, if it's going to leak, it would be there. This is all soldered here. So right here is threaded, but with the compound that I put in there. And so far, I don't see anything. On the top over here, so far so good. I don't see anything there either. And over here, I don't expect it to because it's got that rubber gasket. So I don't expect to see anything over there. But like I said, with plumbing, you want to give it a day or so and come back and check, because if it's going to leak, even though if it's the tiniest of leaks, it takes time for it to work itself, through. And here in Florida, I think our water pressure is like 70 psi's. Even though the manufacturer for the water heater recommended putting a regulator on the cold side to regulate it to 50 to 60. But I think it's going to be fine. So then the last thing I'm going to do to the water heater is this pressure relief valve right here. My old one had this drain attached to it with a union right there, and this actually went backwards. It went right there around the back of the tank and came back and sat right above the sink. And there it is right there on the floor. So now I got to redo it because my tank now sits pretty far back. I mean, I'm sure I could, but on the old one, this right here was more right there. So it was a lot easier to make a 90 and go 2 90s. One this way, one there, and straight back. But because, as you can see, the tank needs to be like this, it's offset. So what I'm going to have to do is probably use the same union fitting here, and then turn this back, because I can. This is not pressurized. This is just for flow, like a drain. So it doesn't matter even if it leaks a bit there. But I'm going to turn this all the way to the back like this, and it gets tighter as I get there, and possibly come all the way to about right there, so I can still put the union right there on it, and then go out, and then go up, and then come across the back right here, come across the top, and then come straight down back into the sink right in there. And I have the piping to do it, so I'm just gonna have to get some couplers and stuff like that. All right, so there you go, guys. Like I said, right now I just got to go and turn on the power in the breaker, set my timer to the time of day, and then see these little tabs. This is the on, that's the off. And I can also do it manually by turning it right here in the on. And on is this way. If I go this way, I can turn it on, and then when this comes back, it'll turn itself off, because that's what it does right there. This passes by here and turns it on and off. Alright guys, as always, thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. And hit the bell button for more and upcoming videos. And this will close it out on this water heater, 40-gallon A.O. Smith water heater that I changed out for my old one. And oh, just to recap, when removing your old one, first thing you want to do is turn off the power, turn off the supply valves, hook up a garden hose to the drain. Okay, like for me it's easy because I have a side door right there, and I actually have a hose that I pre-made just for that. Drain off your water heater, and then do all your disconnections. Okay, if you have to, turn off the main water supply to the house. If you don't have a valve on the side of the house, you may have to go to the street, and that's it. And you can either use the hard plumbing like mine, or you can go ahead and use the flexible. All right, thanks again, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.